All right, guys, what's going on? I'll try to look you in the eye best I can, but the sun is so bright. Any which way, y'all see I got the hog traps loaded up. I'm usually done this time of year, and that being said, it's just because of acorns and deer feeders out. It's hard to catch hogs during the wintertime, just because there's so many food sources out there, and it's really not worth my time to be on a piece of property, because when it comes to pig trapping, I like to be on a piece of property, off and on a piece of property. Once trap set within I would say 1 week to 2 weeks, but I like to be no more than 10 days, preferably 5 to 7, get it done. So it makes it really hard during the wintertime. You can go set a hog trap up in the wintertime, and basically what happens is you end up just having a trap there, because hogs can just go anywhere they want to eat, especially when acorns are falling and it's multiple places to feed deer, or people are feeding deer. So that being said, this video is about trying to become a pig trapper or a hog trapper, maybe for hire, maybe not for hire. But lately I have been getting a lot of questions, a lot of emails, a lot of messages throughout my social media platforms about how to catch them. I'm thinking about getting into the aspect of doing it. I understand. I know I can make it look easy or productive wise. Appreciate everybody's coming to this show, but there is a lot of work that goes in behind it, and a lot of people don't see that a lot of times. And I just want to let you know, here's a few things to be thinking about if you are. First of all, get you a panel trap, whether it be a panel trap or a drop trap, whatever your purposes of trap is. First thing you want to do, I get questions. How do you catch them? How do you start it? What's it pay? How much do I charge? How much corn do I use? And so there's a few things. Like I said, if this video is not for you, or you just want to sit here and listen, then that's fine. But I decided to make this video because when people start asking those questions, I can just send them this link. And that way I don't have to, not that I don't mind talking to y'all. I don't mind talking to y'all, but y'all seen my days, man. I'll be rolling. And when you get 10 or 15 conversations going in a day, that's why I never was a teacher. So, it's basically me explaining it over and over and over and over, because I know I forget a lot of times when I go do the hog jobs. We're just going through the day, right? I'm not really explaining the process of it all in every video. So somebody goes watch a video, they're not getting a lot of information. They're just watching me be entertaining or not entertaining, tearing up stuff and catching a few hogs. That being said, so let's start here. Say you go buy you a hog trap. If you get that's a big pig trap that I got here, and the panel trap and the drop trap over there. You decide you're gonna get it. You go spend the money. Because people always say, well, how do I get my money back? How long is it gonna take? What do you charge? Well, I can tell you this. I've been blessed enough because of y'all, I don't have to really charge anymore. I have enough sponsors that say, hey, we're gonna pay you to advertise this product. We're gonna pay you X amount, but hey, just go out there and get us some content. So I say, hey, somebody got a pig problem, they call me and they say, well, I'm not gonna charge you. Okay, I'm not gonna charge you this month because I have a sponsor. That's where I'm at now. But when I first started, I was charging about $250 just to bring the trap, and they pay for the corn. That's basically just trying to make it and get my name out there. A lot of times I had to do it for free because people won't pay. I even had people say, well, I heard he charged $250. Oh, well, I'd do it for free then, just because I just like to trap. So it cut me out of business. So you have to be careful about telling people what you charge. Then I moved up to $400 to bring the trap and land on pay for the corn. You wouldn't believe how many people bought on $400. I ain't paying $400. Well, sir, it ain't my pig problem. I don't own no land. I don't hunt here. Your problem is not mine. I'm just the solution, sir. And eventually it would get big enough to where basically they would say, hey, just come on. Because what happens is a lot of people, they call when it's deer season, when they're putting out corn feeders, and they realize, well, I got these old bucks and these does I want to hunt, and my kids, but guess what? Don't nothing show up but the pigs, and they just run all the deer off. Now it's worth you $400, ain't it? That's the way it works a lot of times. So I understand a lot of people, they just don't see the fact of spending that money because they think, well, we just hunt them. You know, there's people all over the world that want to just use their dogs and come out and hunt them, and they'll just do it for free. That's fine. Do it for free. Like I said, that's your land, that's your pig, that's your problem. But as a guy, and I charge more. So when people, just like I left the place, I've been there since the last 2 weeks of January, and I just pulled the trap out. So that landowner pays me to be there throughout the year, chop, 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 chop. And, you know, I charge them $400 a week for 7, 8 months, whatever it is, just to maintain it. I go do the feeding. I go do the, to make sure the prepping or whatever's legal in your state, whether it be a corn feeder and a trough. Maybe some states you can put it on the ground and just pile it up and let them feed. So just make sure you're aware of that. Sometimes the landowner will help you. Hey, I can go out there every day or every other day and put out some feed and keep them fed and keep a camera over it. You want to be able to keep a camera over it because you want to know how those hogs are acting. If they're not acting right, you need to know it. Those bully hogs and stuff like that. So I say this. Charge what makes you money, that you're not losing any money. If you just want to do it for fun, that's fine. But charge enough to where you weren't out anything. As far as prepping a site, I'll go through 10 to 15 bags of corn before I ever set a trap. I want those hogs knowing that they can come there and feed and get their belly full and go lay back down, and it's over with. That's it. There is no more wanting to root around, tear up other stuff. You feed them to where it's like a buffet. And I know I don't want to spend $10 a bag of corn, but at the end of it, you're done with your hog problem most of the time if you're using these panels or drop traps to where you control how many you catch at a time as long as the hogs go in, right? So don't ever be cheap. Cheap doesn't catch sounders. Cheap catches very, very few. Where do you set? On sign. If somebody calls you and said, hey, we got hogs here and I seen them on camera here. If they're seeing them on camera there, don't go 600 yards or half a mile down the bottom and set somewhere else unless you see a lot of sign. Go with where you're seeing the sign, set the trap there or wherever they're coming to feed. If they're tearing up that hay field, tearing up that bean field, corn field, or whatever, even though I know it's hard to trap around cornfields, I've done it, I do it. But go where the sign is. If the landowner's willing to help, use them, because you can be using your time at another spot ready. You see me all the time. I have 4 traps I'm bouncing. So when I pull one trap, I'm bouncing that trap to the next spot because I've already got it prepped, whether the landowner's helping me or I'm doing it. Like I said, the pricing is whatever you can make money at. If it's costing you every day to go somewhere, think about what it's costing you per mile or mileage, time. See what your time's worth. You are worth something, always. If somebody called you about a pig problem, you are worth something because that means they couldn't do it, okay? Set on that sign, charge what you can, and eventually your name will get big enough you can charge what you want to. You can do it or not do it. And like I said, if you're gonna do content, YouTube content, keep it clean. Keep it clean. You don't have to show all the gore and turn everybody off from it. I don't do it. I mean, it's part of it. Don't get me wrong. It's part of it. Yes, it's part of it. But everything don't have to be show. You don't have to show guts and blood and glory or gory out of everything. You just don't have to. So, some of those are some of the things just to think about. Get you a trap, charge what makes you money, set on sign, and don't be cheap with the corn or whatever you're feeding with. A lot of times I get people always wanting to say, hey, use sour corn. I don't do it because I go through 40 to 50 pounds of bags a week of corn prepping spots, okay? So I'm using a pallet a week. I don't want to deal with any sour corn in the back of my truck that gets on my hands, gets on my boots, gets on my shoes, gets in my truck, on the steering wheel. You can use anything can draw in a hog. I use Southern Seed and Feed. A lot of their deer feeds got molasses in it or peanuts. It's something extra to draw those hogs in. So if you're drawing a hog in with something, once they start feeding, you don't have to keep luring them with stinky corn or nothing like that. So I know I get a lot of those questions and whatnot. And the best thing, and just be productive, you have to get them. If you catch hogs, don't wait till lunchtime to go get them. Go on, get up at daylight, be there at daylight, take care of the hogs and be done with it. So I hope this helps somebody in some form or fashion of what, you know. I don't mind asking questions, but like I said, prep a spot before you ever set a trap. I know, yes, you can. This ain't Texas where I'm from. Can't just go set a trap and a hog walk in because he ain't got nothing else to eat around there. So it needs to be prepped. That scent of that hog and those hogs laying in that area, you'll see them on trail camera. Once they start laying down on that corn, they comfortable. And then it's almost time to catch them. I go 5 to 6 days before of feeding every night before I even think about setting a trap. Minimum 5 to 6 days of them coming every night before I even think about setting a trap. And that has helped my success rate tremendously over. A lot of people like to just say, I got hogs, they go set in where a field's rooted up, they set a trap and they put corn in it and just think they're gonna go in there. They're not gonna do it. Some will, more than likely, you're not, let me take that back. You're not gonna catch hogs like I do. And all I can do is tell you how I do it. It's kind of like the gas, we live in a little small town. If you got one gas station, where do you go get gas? The closest place to go get gas, right? I don't drive to 40 miles, 25 miles to Starkville, Mississippi to go get gas when I got one location right here. If I had 2 or 3 locations to go get, then you're trying to pick and choose where you're gonna get the gas, right? So what happens is have that one feeding spot on your piece of property for hogs. Don't have a corn feeder here and then have a corn feeder here and a corn feeder here. Because what happens is when you finally set that trap, them hogs will look at it. It's a little suspicious. They don't know it's a trap. They just know it's different. So what do? Is they turn around and they walk away and they'll go a quarter mile, half a mile, and start eating at these other prep spots. On a piece of property, I always tell a landowner, one spot. I don't care if you got 100 acres or 1,600 acres, one spot. And a lot of times I can catch more hogs doing that than I can anything because they don't have any other option. At the end of the day, the need to feed will overcome the fear of what's there, and what's there is the trap. And once you get them in, it'll be on. So just stay at it. Maybe this helped you, maybe it didn't. But this is a video that I'm putting out there today, just so when people start asking and they want to get into it, this will give them somewhat of the answers. And then, any more questions, just come to me. Any which way, this is how y'all does it. Y'all have a good one. God bless, and as always, Jesus loves you.